think we decided that figures.
page 2.
Gata of atonement, all evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now atone for it all. Nikaya 3 refuges. Buddham saranam gacchami. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. This precious human life, rarely encountered, is easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, may I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly. Page 3. Mahayana Refuge. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. Invocation of the lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers. For the lineage of teachers before them, I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened, may their vows be completely realized, and may I cultivate these perfections with their guidance. 7 practices of the Bodhisattvas. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings. Generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred. Being close to some and distant from others, how wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness and the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this. You'll find this morning's reading, Days Like Lightning, either on page 36 or on a sheet of paper in your liturgy book. You get to discover that for yourself. That's page 36 if it's in the big book. Days like lightning. The days and months go by like lightning. We should value the time. We pass from life to death in the time it takes to breathe in and breathe out. It's hard to guarantee even a morning and an evening. Whether walking or standing, sitting or lying down, do not waste even a minute. Become ever braver and bolder. Be like our original teacher, Shakyamuni, who kept on progressing energetically. When the mind ground is equanimous and awake, you will have profound certainty in the intent of the Buddhas and ancestral teachers. You must accomplish this correctly. Mind is the natural Buddha. Why bother seeking elsewhere? Put down your myriad concerns and wake up. At the end of the road, it's like an iron wall. False thoughts are all extinguished, and extinguishing is wiped away. Body and mind resting on the void. In the stillness, a light reaches everywhere with brilliance. The original face, who is it? As soon as it is mentioned, the arrow sinks in stone. When the mass of doubt is shattered, amid all the particulars, one thing covers the blue sky. Do not talk with people without wisdom. Do not become overjoyed. Visit Zen teachers. Show them how your mind works and ask for their teaching. After that, you can be called one who continues the tradition of the ancestral teachers. Our family style is not remote. When tired, we stretch out our legs and sleep. When hungry, we let our mouths eat. In the human realm, what school is this? Blows and shouts fall like raindrops.
Please prepare for 10 minutes of meditation time.
So youths will now depart for Dharma school. For those of us not going to Dharma school, out toward the front room with Kyoan, please prepare for Zazen. stretch rather than do our full normal walking meditation. All right, we'll hear a little bit about what we're going to do today as we sit down and receive our next instructions. Or we'll stand. You gave me a funny look at sit down.
I can't.
Oh, please be seated. Please turn to face the teachers and sit comfortably. I'm having great mic troubles. Please turn to face the teachers and sit comfortably. And face our Shuso as well.
Just so you know, this is quite a surprise for our Shuso that he's actually up here.
Don't be fooled, he's prepared long and hard.
Right, both sides, of course.
We will leave the Gatha on opening the sutra.
You'll find the Gatha on opening the sutra on page 8 of your liturgy books. Gatha on opening the sutra. The Dharma incomparably profound and infinitely subtle is rarely encountered even in millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
So, good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Lovely to see new friends and old friends. And today is a very special day. We are introducing our chief disciple, our Shuso, Kaishin. And we are starting Ango. So two big things happening today. So, one of the things about Buddhism is we're not big on getting you to believe stuff or speak in creeds, but we're real big on getting you to practice stuff and do stuff and show up for stuff. And ironically, the definition of Ango is peaceful dwelling, right? So normally we think of peaceful as like, I've got my candle, I've got some nice music, I've got a glass of wine, the fire's going, friends and lovers around me that I really enjoy, and life is good. Well, in Buddhism, the peaceful is slightly different. So the peaceful that we're interested in is the peace that passes all understanding. The peace that passes all understanding. The peace that can hold all the chaos and craziness of whatever is happening inside of us and whatever is happening around us. That is the peace that we're laser focused on embodying, examining, showing up as. And then when we speak about dwelling, we really mean this peace that passes all understanding that is so familiar to us and so much a part of our home, in our heart home, right? That no matter what's happening, we're always dwelling in the container of peace. And you can immediately feel, just with those words alone, the sort of the truth ringing through those words. And because we're human, we need to practice this. Because it's not obvious, right? What is obvious is kind of the, I don't even know what to call it. It's even beyond chaos of our own minds, just trying to get ourselves through the day, right? All of the maladjustments of our best lights, trying to figure out how to be a nice person, how to protect ourselves, how to feel safe in the world. And we do our best, but there's something else. There's something else, and we have to take what's called the backward step. We have to undo all of the confused best efforts that we've made thus far, right? No blame, no shame. We're doing our best according to our best lights. But Buddhism has a path and says, here's a way to actually be peace. Here's a way to actually be loving towards yourself and others. And that's what we're practicing. And we're going to really engage this practice of peaceful dwelling for the next 90 days. And interestingly enough, in the history of Buddhism, one of the really interesting turns in our modern era is that it's not just primarily practiced by the monks anymore, right? We've got this very sort of third factor coming online in human history where we're a little bit monk and a little bit householder, right? So to that end, we're going to be reading Dogen's guidance for householders as our text for the Ango. And we've got it all chunked out and it should be very rich. But it's really important to honor that when you are engaged in this 90 days of intensive Zen training, that you are living the life historically of a monk. Monk meaning monos, one mind focused on what is this peaceful dwelling. How do I live peacefully in the moment that I'm in, with the broken heart that I have right now, with the pain that I have right now? How do I live peacefully? So there's also a lot of activity going on in the midst of all this peace. So I'll just kind of share a little bit about what's going to happen as we practice together, as we kind of turn up the heat on our peaceful dwelling. So we're having an Ango workshop on the Heart Sutra, and the Heart Sutra is what we chant during one of the chants during the liturgy. We'll be having a Zendo Foundations and Liturgy Basics class. So this would be really good for people that are a little bit newer and they're like, where do I bow? What the heck is going on here? What is this strange village I've just wandered into? This is your village temple. We're having, very importantly, an ethics workshop. So really, we want everybody to come to that so that we all know the parameters of how to be nice to each other and how to take care of each other. We're having a body practice workshop that Roshi is going to lead, which is extremely important. Zen, we're not going through the books necessarily. We're going through the body, right? We are so trusting the body, heart, mind that we have already. We don't need to add anything extra. If anything, we have to get rid of all the stuff that's in the way. We trust completely the body, heart, mind that we have as the Buddha. We just got to reveal it as so. We're going to have Buddha's birthday ceremony. We're going to have a couple of sessions in there. And finally, we're going to have a closing ceremony to the Ango, so after 3 months. And the Shuso is going to engage in Dharma combats. Which is so fun. And everybody should come to that. It's really a lot of fun. And there's other stuff, too, that's actually happening after this service. So I think someone's going to explain that. So the main thing about Ango, peaceful dwelling, all you have to do is just say, I'm in, right? I am making a commitment to dwell peacefully and to really go there, right? To take the risk and the chance and not just stay in whatever samsaric loop you're in of anger or greed or just kind of closing your eyes and denying what's going on. And in truth, if we want peace in the world, where does it begin?
So let's talk a little bit about what a Shuso is. Since the very beginning of the Buddhist teaching, there have been various ways to empower and to acknowledge growth. And even in this case, we're going to do that. I wonder why, but nonetheless. A shuso is a person that has been deemed ripe enough in the eyes of the teachers and the abbot to really be elevated to the status of what's called a disciple. And it doesn't mean a person who slavishly does whatever the master says. It means one who has taken on the discipline. In order to really take on the discipline, you have to actually know what it is. And that's not an easy thing to do. That takes some doing, to actually get far enough into the practice and realization of the Buddha Dharma to authentically take it up, right? So in its fullest sense, a disciple is someone that is recognized as actually taking up the discipline of the Buddha Dharma. There's always been, in the spiritual path of the Dharma, stages of growth and stages of development. At once, it's completely true that we all are already it, of course, that there's no need to get anything, add anything, be someone else. You are already perfect and complete exactly as you are. The teachings drip with this. And yet, to actually live out of that and really trust yourself, to really taste and know the truth of that for yourself, takes a great deal of intimacy. It takes a great deal of practice, and it is hard won. So experience has shown that there are various times along the path when rites of initiation and empowerment make all the difference. For those who've undertaken the study of the precepts and have received them, you can see them marked in the community with the raksu. That's an important thing, in fact, a crucial thing for many. It's a life-saving, life-affirming, once-in-a-lifetime, ever-impactful reality. Okay? Some people take it and whatever. But if you really do the thing, it does you back, so to speak, right? And it's very important. You see some in the community that have the gray robes. These are those who have committed to what's called shoken, you could say sesshin students that are committed in a stronger way to the deep end of the Zen training student-teacher relationship, primarily, well, not exclusively, but primarily through the vehicle of intensive retreat. This is the main sort of genre or milieu within which the training occurs in a formal setting. And we need structure. We need a procedure and a way to engage and to encounter ourselves, and it works impeccably. It will demand everything of you, but it will give you more than you could ever imagine. It'll give you your life. What's that worth? And then there's this business of ordination. You see some people in black robes. These are the temple priests. Right? And let's not confuse ordination with shuso. Okay? The ordained community are simply those who have taken on the responsibilities, the joys and sorrows of the Sangha as though it was one of their children. Knowingly, foolishly. They take it on and are well trained, might I say, to be stewards and servants of this community. In essence, their practice really isn't any different, but the commitments very much are, and the manner of serving, and there's some magic in there too, let's be frank. But that's different from shuso. Shuso, anybody can achieve shuso. It's not limited. It happens to have, our two shuso so far have been ordained. It's no accident. The clergy tend to be all in. So they tend to, go through the grinder a little quicker, but not because of any special thing other than just being around more, right? And although it's true in our first two cases, I think he'll make it. In time, in the fullness of time, we'll see gray robe folks who also are in the hot seat of Shuso. One of the things that you'll notice that a Shuso is there's a little bit of this, a little bit of ribbing that goes on. We do it hopefully in a lighthearted and fun way. But historically, it's kind of interesting as a person is elevated to begin participating in the teaching of the abbot, which is what this is about. At the end of the Shuso process, the Shuso will do Dharma combat, as we heard, and that's where they will be given a koan that they don't know which one it will be. They'll give a brief teisho on this koan, and then they'll invite the community to come up and test their understanding. So it's a live, public testing and celebration and challenging of a disciple's understanding. So you've got to be ready for that, And then once that's occurred, then there will be many times when you'll begin to hear the Shuso offering Dharma talks. So in a graded way, they begin to help take on some of the responsibilities of teaching the Dharma in this temple to the Sangha. So that's an immense joy to see. It's a hell of a lot of fun, honestly, but it's also to be able to see people growing and maturing and being able to contribute in this way is really encouraging for me, and I hope it is for you. In the fullness of time, there should be many voices who are very comfortable to be tapped, and up they come and give a hell of a Dharma talk. I expect that. You should expect yourself to do that. No one's Shuso experience completely maps onto anyone else's. It's a journey. But one thing that you'll see is that the Shuso is called they sit in the head seat, the model of practice. Talk about pressure, right? So the way it works is that for this Ango training period, which I think is a little shy of 90 days actually, this go around, but the idea is that in Kaishin here, Reverend Kaishin, we've got an example of what good practice looks like. Oh, that's great. That's great. So for the next, few lifetimes, we all stare at him intently, make sure, check, wonder, and watch him thrive, honestly. Watch him thrive, watch him blossom and grow and become another voice of the Dharma. May it be so. And he said, he knew this talk was coming. He's had a long time to prepare for it.
So, my name is Kaishin, and what Roshi means by that is he just flipped over a paper with 4 words on the other side. So, my experience with Ango is very much like my experience with practice, with this community, I guess. I live a reasonable distance away, and it's some effort to come down. And the heart definitely shrinks that distance over time. The early drives seemed forever, and now, I'm here before I know it. And there's something about that that travel. It becomes this rarefied moment of getting ready, because my opportunities to be in the presence of Sangha are a little further in between than people who might live a little closer and have more opportunity. And Ango has been this wonderful way to kind of recognize that that feeling that rises in me when I'm driving the distance to engage with Sangha, that is something that has nothing to do with the I-75 South, or that space between, Amherstburg and Toledo, or, even, the heartfelt mile markers of Beef Jerky Unlimited. This is not a gas station. There's something that opens up in that readiness to engage in the moments that are about to be presented to me, because I'm going to be with Sangha. And the more that I learned this practice of Ango, I increasingly found I did not need to be making the trip down to actualize that sense of engagement. That I could find it as the feet leave the bed and feel the floor and take the 4 or 5 paces over to my sitting area. That it doesn't have to be the procession in for a liturgy. It can be the walk to the kitchen to do the dishes. It doesn't have to be the samu of going into the hell room to find paper towels. It can be the walk through the downstairs living room to find the cat shit that one of them, I haven't figured out which one, leaves when they're a little displeased about something. And so this peaceful dwelling practice for me has been an experience of learning to show up in this fullness of practice, which is so obvious, like when we're here and doing all the things, but to be able to realize that and live into it moment to moment to moment, to see it in our home and in our family, and the wider Sangha, with much of which in this world does not really care about our efforts on the cushion, like we care about each other's efforts on the cushion. So there's a big question that's been driving my practice about how to make this practice show up when you get off the cushion. And Ango for me has been a real invitation to live into that. And so I look forward to sitting in that seat and walking Kinhin in my kitchen and hoping to model what that type of engagement looks like. It's a lot easier knowing that there's a Sangha who's doing the same. And I'm immensely grateful for this practice. I mean, we say it in Open Sozan. At the end of Sesshin, there's all this gratitude to our teachers for holding up these forms and transmitting them to us. And the Ango is no small thing. So I look forward to it, and I thank you all for it. I have spoken.
The next thing.
There will be a transition and movement as things are put into place and Enso is drawn, and a chant is recited by us, the Sho Saimyo Kichijo Dharani, to avert calamity, which you'll find on page 6 of your liturgy books, or possibly an insert. But for now, we will stand up, we will ready ourselves, and things will be moved. So for those who may be unfamiliar with what we're going to do here, Reverend Kaishan is going to come up and draw an Enso circle. And then there will be an invitation for us to queue up and write our names inside that Enso to participate as a sign of our participation in Ango. And throughout, we will be reciting the Shosaimyo Kichijo Dharani. Shosaimyo Kichijo Dharani Nomo Sanmanda Motonan Ohara Chikotosha Sononan Toji Toen Gya Gya Gyaki Unun Shifura Shifura Hara Shifura Hara Shifura Chishusa Chishusa Chishuri Chishuri Sohaja Sohaja Sanchi Gya Shirie Somoko Nomo Sanmanda Motonan Ohara Chikotosha Sononan Toji Toen Gyaki Unun Shifura Shifura Hara Shifura Hara Shifura Chisusa Chishusa Chishuri Chishuri Sohaja Sohaja Sanchi Gya Shirie Somoko Nomo Sanmanda Motonan Oharachi Kotosha Sononan Toji Toen Gyaki Unun Shifura Shifura Hara Shifura Hara Shifura Chishusa Chishusa Chishuri Chishuri Sohaja Sanja Sanchi Gya Shirie Somoko Nomo Sanmanda Motonan Oharachi Kotosha Sononan Toji Toen Gyaki Unun Shifura Shifura Hara Shifura Hara Shifura Chishusa Chishusa Chishuri Chishuri Sohaja Sohaja Sanchi Gya Shirie Somoko Nomo Sanmanda Motonan Oharachi Kotosha Sononan Toji Toen Gyaki Unun Shifura Shifura Hara Shifura Hara Shifura Chishusa Chishusa Chishuri Chishuri Sohaja Sohaja Senchi Gya Shirie Somoko Nomo Sanmanda Motonan Oharachi Kotosha Sononan Toji Toen Gyaki Unun Shifura Shifura Hara Shifura Hara Shifura Chishusa Chishuri Chishuri Sohaja sohaja sanchigya shirie somoko nomo sanmanda motonam oharachi kotosha sononam toji toen gya gya gyaki gyaki umnun shifura shifura hara shifura shuri sohaja sohaja somoko nomo sanmanda motonan oharachi kotosha sononan toji toen gyaki unnun shifura shifura hara shifura chishusa chishuri sohaja sanchigya shirie somoko nomo sanmanda motonan oharachi kotosha sononan toji toen gyaki unnun shifura hara shifura chishusa chishuri sohaja sanchigya shirie somoko nomo sanmanda motonan oharachi kotosha sononan toji toen gyaki unnun shifura hara shifura chishusa chishuri sohaja sanchigya shirie somoko nomo sanmanda motonan oharachi kotosha sononan toji toen gyaki unnun shifura hara shifura chishusa chishuri sohaja sanchigya shirie somoko nomo sanmanda motonan oharachi kotosha sononan toji toen gyaki unnun shifura hara shifura chishusa chishuri sohaja sanchigya shirie somoko nomo sanmanda motonan oharachi kotosha sononan toji toen gyaki unnun shifura hara shifura chishusa chishuri sohaja sanchigya shirie somoko nomo sanmanda motonan oharachi kotosha sononan toji toen gyaki unnun shifura hara shifura 지슈사 지슈사 지슈리 지슈리 소하자 소하자 센치야 시리에 소모코 노모 산만다 모토난 오하라치 고토샤 소노난 토지 토엔 야야야기 야기 운눈 시프라 시프라 하라 시프라 하라 시프라 지슈사 지슈사 지슈리 지슈리 소하자 소하자 산치야 시리에 소모코 노모 산만다 모토난 오하라치 고토샤 소노난 토지 토엔 야야야기 야기 운눈 시프라 시프라 하라 시프라 하라 시프라 지슈사 지슈사 지슈리 지슈리 소하자 소하자 산치야 시리에 소모코 노모 산만다 모토난 오하라치 고토샤 소노난 토지 토엔 야야야기 야기 운눈 시프라 시프라 하라 시프라 하라 시프라 지슈사 지슈사 지슈리 지슈리 소하자 소하자 산지야 시리에 소모코 노모 산만다 모토난 오하라치 고토샤 소노난 토지 토엔 야야야기 야기 운눈 시프라 시프라 하라 시프라 하라 시프라 지슈사 지슈사 지슈리 지슈리 소하자 소하자 산치야 시리에 소모코 노모 산만다 모토난 오하라치 오하라사쿠난 토지 토엔 야야야기 야기 운눈 시프라 시프라 하라 시프라 하라 시프라 지슈사 지슈사 지슈리 지슈리 소하자 소하자 산치야 시리에 소모코 노모 산만다 모토난 오하라치 고토샤 소노난 토지 토엔 야야야기 야기 운눈 시프라 시프라 하라 시프라 하라 시프라 지슈사 지슈사 지슈리 지슈리 소하자 소하자 산치야 시리에 소모코 노모 산만다 모토난 오하라치 고토샤 소노난 토지 토엔 야야야기 야기 운눈 시프라 시프라 하라 시프라 하라 시프라 지슈사 지슈사 지슈리 지슈리 소하자 소하자 산치야 시리에 소모코 노모 산만다 모토난 소노난 토지 토엔 야야야기 야기 운눈 Shifura, Shifura, Hara Shifura, Hara Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Senchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motonan, Oharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, Gya, Ki, Gya, Ki, Unnun, Shifura, 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 Hara Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Senchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motonan, Oharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, 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 Ki, Gya, Ki, Unnun, Shifura, Shifura, Hara Shifura, Hara Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Senchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motonan, Oharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, 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 Ki, Gya, Ki, Unnun, Shifura, Shifura, Hara Shifura, Hara Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Senchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motonan, Oharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, 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 Ki, Gya, Ki, Unnun, Shifura, Shifura, Hara Shifura, Hara Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Senchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motonan, Oharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, 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 Ki, Gya, Ki, Unnun, Shifura, Shifura, Hara Shifura, Hara Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Senchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motonan, Oharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, 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 Ki, Gya, Ki, Unnun, Shifura, Shifura, Hara Shifura, Hara Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Senchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motonan, Oharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, 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 Ki, Gya, Ki, Unnun, Shifura, Hara Shifura, Hara Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Senchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motonan, Oharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, 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 Ki, Gya, Ki, Unnun, Shifura, Shifura, Hara Shifura, Hara Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Sanchi, Yashirie, Somoko, Romo, Sanmanda, Motona, Noharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, Gya, Gyaki, Gyaki, Omnun, Shifura, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Sanchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motona, Oharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Hoji, Toen, Gya, Gya, Gyaki, Gyaki, Unnun, Shifura, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Sanchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motonan, Oharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, Gya, Gyaki, Gyaki, Onnun, Shifura, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Sanchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motonan, Oharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, Gya, Gyaki, Gyaki, Unnun, Shifura, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Sanchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motona, Oharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, Gya, Gyaki, Gyaki, Unnun, Shifura, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Sanchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motona, Oharachi, Tosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, Gya, Gyaki, Gyaki, Unnun, Shifura, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Sanchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motonan, Oharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, Gya, Gyaki, Gyaki, Unnun, Shifura, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Sanchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motonan, Oharachi, Kotosha, Sononan, Toji, Toen, Gya, Gya, Gyaki, Gyaki, Unnun, Shifura, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Hara, Shifura, Chishusa, Chishusa, Chishuri, Chishuri, Sohaja, Sohaja, Sanchi, Gya, Shirie, Somoko, Nomo, Sanmanda, Motonan, Oharachi, somoko no mo sanmanda motonan oharachi kotosha sononan toji toen yaki unyun shifura hara shifura chishusha chishuri sohaja sanchi shirie somoko nomo sanmanda motonan oharachi kotosha sononan toji toen yaki unyun shifura hara shifura chishusha chishuri sohaja sanchi shirie somoko nomo sanmanda motonan oharachi kotosha sononan toji toen yaki unnun shifura hara shifura chishusha chishuri sohaja sanchi shirie somoko nomo sanmanda motonan oharachi kotosha sononan toji toen yaki unnun shifura hara shifura chishusha chishuri sohaja sanchi shirie somoko nomo sanmanda motonan oharachi kotosha sononan toji toen yaki unnun shifura hara shifura chishusha chishuri sohaja sanchi shirie somoko. Infinite realms of light and dark convey the Buddha mind. All that is and we ourselves come forth in perfect harmony. We offer this sincere and devoted practice of our spring Ango for the many beings of the 6 worlds, and dedicated in grateful thanks to the strength and sound practice of the Great Heartland Sangha and its teachers. May our virtuous actions be clear from all interferences, and may our vows be fully realized. We especially dedicate our practice to bringing all beings to full and complete awakening this spring Ango. May our practice be strong and without interferences. May we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together. Thank you all so much for joining us on this Sunday. Right after this announcements, we will enjoy some food and fellowship together, and then at 2 p.m. there will be some special happenings explained to us by Shiso Reverend Kaishin. While Kaishin gets his microphone, I will make one announcement for next week, which is that it is Potluck Sunday. So it's a great time to bring a dish. Keep that in the back of your mind. There are many, many events coming up this spring. Ango, Doan Sensei told us about some of them, but what's happening at 2 p.m. today, Reverend Kaishin?
Well, at 2 p.m. today, after we've had lunch and cleaned up, there's going to be an Ango opening hike. Now that the abbot and sensei have moved into the new abbacy, this is a feature of Zen practice which we're very happy to have come online, is those people who are able to and came prepared to walk on the muddy trails of the Kinhin trails can do the full Ango hike that I'll be leading, which will end at the Abbasi, where the abbot and sensei will be serving each of us tea and a little cookie treat sort of thing. If you're not able to do the full walk, there is an abridged version of that walk, which goes directly from our parking lot to the Abbasi. That's got a lot more mulch on it, and we'll keep in technological contact so that we can time those things that both walks end at the Abbasi at the same time. But that's at 2 o'clock. Immediately after the service, you can come to the front and receive the Ango thread from myself and one of the other black-robed reverends. And basically this is to offer a reminder of practice and the protection of lineage from, bad things. I think that's everything I was supposed to say. Yeah.
For those who may not know, can you give some sense of how long the hike is that you're talking about to do the full thing?
The hike round trip takes about 35 minutes or so. So if you've never done it, it's out in the woods and it gets muddy in parts, and it does go downhill and uphill and across boardwalks and such. And so there's a certain bit of, did you bring the right footwear? How good are those knees and ankles that people want to take into consideration? Because we want everyone to have a safe and productive Ango. But in the end, we'll all get to the same place. Yes?
Can you say what time we want to end up at the Abbasi?
What time we want to end up at the Abbasi, I believe, is around 2:40. Thank you. Are there any other announcements that need to happen?
So come up to get your Ango thread, go out to eat, reconvene for the walk. Please restore the Zendo.